is a rudiment of a good society, and when there is lack of peace in a society, it gives room for antisocial vices. It makes the society not to be habitable for people. But how do we allow peace to dominate our society? How do we ameliorate various antisocial vices that we have in our society? Banditry, brigandage, and other serious issues that affect our society. But when we don't allow peace to reign, definitely we cannot know peace, and it's good for us to sleep with our two eyes closed. And that is the essence of a discussion on your image today. What is the topic? Curtailing banditry, kidnapping, and other antisocial vices in our society. Today is very special because I have personalities that know their onions when it comes to issue of security, peace in our society. Today, please, I want to welcome to the show Barrister Habib White. Is a legal advisor to PCRC, Global State, that is a place Community Relations Committee, and of course, 65th ECOWAS Youth Ambassador. Ambassador, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
And that's our latest ambassador, right?
Thank you very much, sir.
You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
I also have on the show to speak from the academic perspective on this issue is a lecturer in the Department of Mass Communication, Crescent University, Abeokuta, Dr. Ganiu Okuno. You are welcome, sir.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
And of course, there is a regular face on this show. He's a human rights activist to the core, yes, and is the chairman of the State Coalition of Civil Societies. Join me as I welcome comrade Yinka Folani. You are welcome to the show.
Yeah, good day to everyone.
All right, we want to set the ball rolling, curtailing banditry, kidnapping, and other antisocial vices in our society. We must embrace peace because we are all peace-loving Nigerians. Let me start from Barrister White. Let's try to take a look at these major words: banditry, kidnapping. Can you just give us a theoretical definition of these two major words?
Yes, thank you very much. If you look at the word banditry and look at the word kidnapping, they both connote vices, social vices that have criminal inclinations. If saying someone is a bandit, it means that the person can hold you to ransom at any point, cut away your things, your valuables, he can even kill you. It means that person has a right to take away your life because of the kind of person he or she is. It's not about being a man, it's about your personality. A bandit can be a female. Now kidnapping, we all know, is a process whereby you'll be taken away and ransom will be asked for you to have your own freedom. It hinders your freedom, your constitutional rights. Such an act hinders it. Now, if you look at what's playing out now in our country as a whole, we all know that it's an issue of insecurity. And the question we should ask ourselves, why are we here? What are the things that have been happening before now? Are there things that we have been doing outside that we never about our minds to? Or are there things that we have just overlooked to be things that are not necessary, that we could easily work out to? There will be reasons for a particular thing. There's an idea that says, without a flame, there won't be a fire. Some things will have been happening. One of the major causes of this whole problem, some persons will tell you, maybe unemployment, when you don't have a job, poverty, and everything. But to me, it transcends beyond that. It has more connotation beyond that. It's not about poverty, it's not about not having the good mindset, it's not about it. It's about we as humans, as Nigerians. How are we living our lives as a people? Are we not ready to cohabit as one? You can never negotiate peace. It is what everybody should have. There should be freedom. Even our constitution guarantees freedom of movement, freedom to do a particular thing. To wrap it all, our constitution guarantees right to life. It's very sacrosanct. You cannot negotiate life. The constitution says, the list of one says, every person has the right to life. Every person. It means no matter how you are, no matter who you are, insofar you are being born, you are living, you have that right to life. Even the law is saying we are going to protect this life based on some circumstance. We will not be able to protect you based on some circumstance. One, there's an order of the court that you be executed. You know your life will be taken away. That will have been from a particular point to another point. If there are riot of law and order, it can happen. Maybe mass protest, it can happen. But in this situation, it's not about the quality of your life. It's not about anyone else. It's about people that are your own. Because there is no division in Nigeria. We are all one. As Nigerians, I'll tell people that if you ask me where are you from, I am from Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian. Don't ask me if I'm a Yoruba or Hausa. No, it's not about that. Because now banditry has been mostly aligned to the northern part of the country because of what we are reading every day or what we are hearing every day. It has been existing before now. Even in Southwest. At the point in Southwest, you cannot even travel to places again because there will be one kidnap or the other.
I will still come back to that area when we on the course of this discussion. Having taken a look at the banditry and kidnapping, they are just like Siamese twins. I think one is not different from the other. And we want to take a look at the population's approach to the issue. And let me now direct my question to Dr. Gani Okuno. He's a senior lecturer and he also specializes in publications and advertising. Now, let's look at the publications implication of these two, banditry, kidnapping. And a country that these two words thrive, we know that there is a problem. So what do you think should be the PR approach? We are not talking about solution now, but we want to look at the PR approach to what brought about this problem. Let's take a look at it.
Well, like Barrister White said, everything has to do with relationship. The same question he asked, how did we get here, is the same question that runs on the mind of every concerned Nigeria. How did we manage to find ourselves at this level? We were never like this before. We used to live in peace, harmony, we regarded one another as brothers. We were at peace with ourselves. So how do we get to this? And I think the first thing has to do with deterioration of relationship at family, at communal level, at national level.
No communal life again.
No communal life again. And that has now made us to see ourselves as competitors, as threats. What we have is enough to take care of everybody. But unfortunately, because of perceived mistrust from the government, one, from those who serve as informers of the public, then we lack trust, and it becomes difficult for us to relate with one another. It becomes difficult for us to engage one another. And as a result of that, we are now having a situation whereby we are just having contact without any meaningful connection with one another. No real relationship. We have many friends, but there is no genuine relationship, no genuine friendship. And as a result of that, we now have people turning into factions, turning into groups to attack each other. The issue of the bandit, the victim, we are all Nigerians. So if we get to this level, then we need to trace the whole thing back to how we started, the issue of our relationship. And as public relation practitioner, public relation is all about relationship management, managing relationship meaningfully, so that both parties will benefit from such relationship. So that at the end of the day, it will be something meaningful and beneficial to all parties involved. But unfortunately, since the relationship we have, since the relationship that exists among us is not meaningful, it's usually win-lose situation, then we find ourselves in this situation whereby it's now a matter of I apply force to get whatever I want. The issue of kidnapping, we have to be sincere with ourselves. It didn't start today. It's as a result of neglect over time. We fail to take the right decision. And as a result of that, it's now a matter of, because we need to make certain gains, we now turn human into tools of negotiation. We now turn human into an instrument we can use to bargain. And and if you look at the government itself, it has now become a kind of, we don't see it as if we are dealing with humans again. We are now seeing it as if we are dealing with figures. At times you have, what exactly are we? Is it something about human or ordinary figure? So when we are talking about PR perspective, the first thing we need to understand, it has to be a breakdown of relationship, meaningful relationship.
Meaningful relationship. Dr. Krug said we don't count, that Nigerians, people don't count in Nigeria. And I want to ask you a question, Comrade Folari. Now, having looked at their submissions, banditry, kidnapping, and other social vices, he referred us to subsections of the Constitution: right to life, right to freedom of speech and expression, to read. From their submissions, don't you see Do you think that our rights have been infringed upon by the Nigerian government? According to him, that you cannot even sleep with your two eyes closed now. So even if you are walking on the street, you have to be looking at your shoulder here and there. So we are talking about rights now. So don't you have rights to even move freely in Nigeria?
Obviously, we have rights, and those rights are fundamental to both our survival and even to human existence. They are global rights. Right to life is not limited to the Nigerians' letters alone. Even the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of December 10, 1948 affirmed it, that we have that right to life. Nobody has right to take our life. And even that, right to life is the number one among all the rights. It is when your right to life is protected that you can enjoy both social and socio-economic and cultural rights. So I think in the country it's quite pathetic that we have found ourselves where we are today, but like I've been saying at different forums, that this is the time Nigeria needs the patriotic ones the most. It is the time we have to demonstrate and reiterate our commitment to sustainable peace. And we equally need to know that for us to keep moving as a nation, we must build that nation. Even if you have any other citizenship from anywhere, you are first a Nigerian before you acquire that. And in view of that, we must do everything, even when some are beating the drums of war. We must be very, very careful. I wouldn't know if you have a diplomatic passport, or even if you have visas to so many countries. But you should know, even before you get to the airport, something can happen. So if anyone is beating the drum of war, we have to be very, very careful. We have been brought to a stage where our liberty is at risk. And for us to redeem that, to regain it back, our destiny is in our hands. To now address the issue, I must say, it is only sustainable peace that can guarantee sustainable development. A friend of mine was telling me a few days ago that, comrade, do you know, should there arise any form of war, it is to say that will mean that everything we might claim to have acquired, be it building or whatsoever, it means we have all gone on promo. So it is for our leaders and everyone to know that this is the time, no matter what we must have acquired, if you don't want it just to be a promo, it is easier to destroy than to build. And if we can look at it from that angle, we should know when some are beating the drums of war that let us destroy, let us do this, let us do that. I quite understand that human rights are not absolute, but yet there are some that are very, very fundamental that you must not trample upon. If you're taking somebody's right to life, you have taken everything of that person, and even invariably you have affected others who that person has exhaust to. If you have killed the father, you have affected the wife, you have affected the children. So many. If you kill the youth, you have affected the future of this country. So I think at this particular point in time, we must know that discriminating against ourselves is one of those strategy of domineering among the human beings. When some people want to take advantage to continue benefiting themselves, we mustn't allow that as human beings. That man you want to, I love what my brother said, I want to see myself as Nigeria, I don't want to see myself as a particular tribal man, because either you like it or not, the same blood flows in our vein. If a fellow brother is being killed in the north, I am not seeing that person as a northerner, I'm seeing that person as a human being, as a Nigerian. And even if a foreigner, if someone who is claimed to be, who is tagged to be a foreigner is even assaulted or molested in any way or dehumanized in our own country, we human rights activists will rise to defend that person, not because it's just not because he is a foreigner, but because he's a fellow human being like us.
And it's also covered in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
When I travel out of the country, I must say it is quite shameful. It appears that I even enjoy my fundamental human rights more than when I'm in my own country, and it is very, very sad. So it is not about the leaders now. We must know what is the percentage of those who are leading us, who are ruling us. They are less than 1% to the whole population of the country. So it is not about the leaders. It is about even the followers. The type of language you speak presently should be language of peace. You are a religious leader. It is time that you have to be careful with the type of sermons you give, and you should know you are a critical actor as far as sustainable peace is concerned. And that is what, without sustainable peace, there cannot be, without sustainable security, equally we cannot have sustainable peace. But for us to have both, it lies in our hands.
All right, everything lies in our hands. If you want to be part of this show, you can join this conversation through the phone number that will be displayed on the television screen. This is your image and the curtailing banditry, kidnapping, and other antisocial vices in our society. What is the way out? What is the public relations approach to these? And let me direct my question to Barrister Habib White. Now, to the question, how did you get here? Why did we get here? And where are we going from here?
Now, to answer that question, how did we get here? You don't agree with me that this problem, apart from a national problem, has been a domestic problem. Domestic problem. It starts from our various homes. Issue of security, it starts from our various homes. How are we managing our families? How are those family members, how are they relating people in their community? From your community, how do you see persons from other tribes? How do you behave as a human? Are you that kind of person that wants to take undue advantage of others simply because you feel you have power, because you feel you are from somewhere, because you feel untouchable? Or are you that person that have human feelings for others, or that wants to help others grow? That's a question I want to ask. Now, there are several vices that have been happening before now. It was not blown like this. Look at during the heated moments of the COVID-19 era, when we are all staying at home. At that point, I know that in this our parent town, there was a particular time that people had to just take a leave from sleep by being their own protector.
Hello, let's catch you.
Okay.
Hello? Hello? Okay, please continue.
I knew at that point, some persons would not even sleep. That was the first time in my own life that I would join in saying we want to secure our community at night. Now, as I seeing even persons that don't even know they even live in that environment, we're all coming out together to say, some boys they're parading and going to catch them. Look at what that pandemic era, look at what it brought to our table. Now, it showed us something that we were not concerned about our communal security. We are mostly concerned about our individual protection. And we are forgetting so soon that when you are protecting yourself and you are not protecting others, those that are not protecting will come back seeking for help for protection. Look at what happened then. Everybody will come out, old, young ones, communities. And the whole thing went down. We never had it again. Now, the issue of kidnapping is everywhere. Just this morning in Niger State, we had issues of some school children being carried away again. Now, are we saying, is that the right way to go? It is not the right way to go.
Hello? Hello? You're on the show. Sorry, please.
It is not the right way to go. But however, the way it is in the present state now, what I will keep imploring us that we must do as individuals. It is not about government fight now. It's an individual thing. It begins with us. We must ensure in all places, in all spheres of our endeavors, we must ensure that we preach peace. We preach communal love. It's very important because when you don't have this communal love, there is reason for insecurity to happen. And when you notice strange things, it is time for us to start reporting the appropriate quarters. Before now, a lot of persons have been suffering. Use of banditry, kidnapping. A lot of persons have been suffering.
Let's see if we can get this call. Hello? Hello? You are live. Hello? Oh, network issues. Okay, I think you make your submission before I go to the...
A lot of persons have been victim of all this whole thing. But now, it's not about one person now. It's about every one of us. As we're sitting down here, we don't know what will happen in the next few minutes. When we leave the studio. Or we don't even know what can even happen as we're talking. We don't know. The old environment is heated up. And I think it's time for us to just try and bring things down low. We should just please.
All right. Okay, before we receive this call, let me ask Dr. Kuno, when there's persistent crisis in a society like ours, of course, it presents certain image in that particular society. What are the publication's implications on this issue, banditry, kidnapping, and other vices on the image of Nigeria?
Well, definitely, if you have negative image, one, nobody will take Nigeria very serious. No serious investor will invest. Like
the economic implication.
One of these, apart from that, generally nobody will consider unsafe or insecure place as somewhere to stay. So it has a lot of implications. Two, it has psychological implications on the young ones in that environment, in the sense that they tend to see things from that perspective, that everything must be fought or bargained on hard facts. Whereas it's not like that. Like we've been saying, everything did not start now. It's as a result of neglect over time we got to this stage. And like my brother said, there is need for de-escalation now from all critical stakeholders involved. It's not the issue of government now.
Okay.
Starting from at the individual level, we have to be more concerned with the issue of relationship management. I'm still much, I would say, emphasize on the issue of relationship management, because it's only through proper relationship management that we can maintain harmony. When I realize that the security of my neighbor has implication on my security, then I will be much concerned about the welfare of that person. When I realize that as a stakeholder in my community, the welfare of my community is also has implication on my own welfare, I will be mindful of what I say. Because one of the reasons why we got to this level has to do with bad information, false, exaggerated information. At times we will not bother. I don't know how we got to this. We just say that, let me just present any information I see.
Maybe we will still come back to that, the role of media. Of course, media has a role to play. So we'll come back to that. Let me, a quick one from a doctor, by the grace of God. Yes. They talk about harmonious relationship. When we're talking about human rights too, don't we think that we also, individuals, has implication on the other person when you don't care? And what is the human rights implication of this? A very quick one.
Obviously, if your way stops at other man's rights starts. But the main thing is when we respect the human rights of one another, of each other, it is to say that we will be breeding a peaceful society, there will be peaceful coexistence. But where we tend to be violating the right of one another or thinking we are above one another, it will be definitely, there won't be sustainable peace. So every actor, I want to plead to every actor, it is time we need to demonstrate our patriotism. We should preach peace and preach respect for human rights.
All right, this is the best of time for us to preach patriotism, to love, of course, our neighbors, and to make peace inevitable in our society. And this is how we do the contents of this week's edition of Your Image, Curtailing Banditry, Kidnapping, and Other Social Vices in Nigeria, the public relations approach. I want to thank Barrister Abib White, legal advisor to PCRC in Ogun State, and of course, 65th ECOWAS Youth Ambassador. We will continue the discussion next week, because I hope you promise that you'll be here too. Thank you very much. I also thank Dr. Gani Okuno, lecturer, Department of Mass Communication, Preston University. Thank you very much. And of course, the Community Card for learning. Until we see you next week, let's give peace a chance so that Nigeria can enjoy peace. See you next week, God willing.